All right, welcome y'all. So basically what I'm attempting to do here, we'll see how it goes, is every week I've got like a new scene that I'm writing, because I'm kind of like writing the script to this series or this film, this story. And so part of that process is a culmination into this, which is like, I call it a performance workshop, because I want to enact it, and then I'll have maybe some kind of like teaching or even, like a workshop like activity kind of thing after, to kind of blend everything together. And ideally this will turn into like some kind of like an actual play where there's acting. And I kind of think of a little bit like how Tony Robbins events, where it's like the blends the music with the teaching, but not like that where it's all like, but more of like a play kind of thing. All right, so we got a little music, and then you can kind of, we'll set the stage here. It is cold, it is winter time, and this is scene one, scene one, which is something different, of episode one, which is the awakening. Okay, so this is like the very beginning of the story. Okay, so we'll play this little clip here. Maybe I'll mouth over it or something, I don't know yet, because the words are already here. It's winter.
It's winter. While the surface seems to be at rest, Earth is dreaming of a new possibility. And as I move deeper into my own reflections, I see the dream in its full expression. How is it that one seed can grow an entire forest? I pose the question to no one in particular. Because the entire forest is already within each seed. The answer comes from no one in particular. So if I just plant the seed, nature will take care of the rest? I continue to muse with the giver of answers. Yes, assuming you remember the nature of yourself. Meaning? Nature dreamed of a mind smart enough to discover and share her secrets. So in other words, nature created me so that I can learn how to create with nature? Precisely. And your capacity to create with nature rests upon your capacity to recognize the nature within yourself. I pause. There is a faint breeze, and I hear the rustling creak of several branches nodding in affirmation. I wake up from the dream. The light in the room grows as the new day establishes its presence.
It's winter.
It's winter.
Cool.
I think you should just read it.
Well, I wanted to have the music, but then like I didn't want the words on the music, but I don't have that version on my phone that has the music without the words. So I guess a little foresight for next time. But basically, so like, just presenting that so you can kind of get a feel of just the essence and like the theme of where we're at in the story right now, and then like allowing that to open up to some kind of underlying either just overall interpretation, and then some kind of teaching or lesson, and potentially like a accompanying kind of exercise that we could do together. That's kind of like the workshop aspect of it. So really this scene in itself, and this is kind of like spoiler alert kind of shit, but whatever. But this scene in itself, like this opening scene, in a sense is one, like a premonition of what's to come. Because essentially this first scene is a dream. And so it's like I'm in this dream, and you know how a lot of times in dreams, like things will happen telepathically where nobody's necessarily talking, but a communication is happening. And so I'm in this dream, and I'm like posing these questions, and in a sense, like this dream it's showing the future of where things are heading. Because like in this dream, I'm at this place of actually, having the awareness enough to ask these different questions of like, is one, like how can a whole forest be present in one seed? And then the answers, I say they're coming from no one in particular, but it's kind of like in the narration of the actual scene, Johnny's going to be the one, that's answering the questions that I'm asking. Because in the dream, he's kind of at this higher level of his own development. I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like this Christ consciousness that is coming through, or kind of just this universal intelligence that is coming through. And really, it's meant to like open the door to possibility, where it's like at the very beginning of the whole opening of this thing, the ending is already the seed, which is kind of why it's like the whole seed or the whole forest is present in the seed. In other words, like in this seed, in the essence of this very first scene, it's in a sense the whole story is already being told. But then at the end, I wake up from the dream, and it's just a dream. And then essentially this kind of like is going along with the hero's journey, where in the beginning everything's usually like it's just normal. Like when you watch a movie, most movies will kind of follow the similar path of the hero's journey, and it's just an archetype that can have many, many different expressions. But in the hero's journey, when things start out, usually it's just like Normalville. Everything's the same, status quo, and it's like nothing dramatic has happened yet. It's just kind of establishing the setting of just a normal kid, just a normal dude doing normal stuff, going to school. So that then kind of opens into scene 2. But again, where we're at right now, this first scene is, it's entitled something different. So it's just kind of opening things up a little bit, like, oh, there is this possibility. The entire forest is present within the seed. And like, it's winter time, and nature is dreaming of a new possibility. Things aren't necessarily very alive seemingly on the surface, but underneath the surface in the depths, in a sense, nature is dreaming. Just as in winter time, that is our time of reflection and contemplation and introspection. In a sense, it's our season to dream as well. And that's why I said, like, nature is dreaming, and in my own reflections, I can see the dream that is unfolding. So it's like in this dream, I'm recognizing that I'm not separate from nature. In a sense, like I am nature's, and like humans in general, we are the evolution of nature and her capacity to become aware of itself. Like in a sense, we are nature's eyes and ears and mind to be able to analyze things and to look at things and to create systems around things. And even though we have used it thus far to, in a sense, create this separation from nature, because we've kind of deemed ourselves as like nature's over there, and I need to somehow, conquer nature and learn how to use nature for my own personal goals and objectives here. But it's like that same power, even though right now it's like, in a sense, we're destroying ourselves through that mode of interaction with nature. But it's that same power that has the seed for us to learn our connectedness with nature, and then learn how to co-create harmoniously with nature as, her extension of her awareness to know herself, so that we can, in a sense, co-create an experience far greater than we could ever have, seemingly separate. As like, okay, humans are over here doing human things, and nature, we got to keep nature over here. And that's like, as this story continues to develop, that's going to be a big theme of like learning the nature of ourselves, while at the same time seeing ourselves within nature, and then learning kind of the secrets of nature, so that we can co-create a better world for us all. And like, that's what's going to come through in the story, but the way the story is being written, it's like mimicking real life. So it's like we're telling the story of real life, and then as we're telling the story, at the same time we're living the story. So again, I'm curious to see how it'll continue to unfold. I mean, it feels like it's going to be like a 4-year kind of project. Like we're starting, at the very beginning of this rest period, and then each year will be its own like book or volume, and then each cycle of the year, each season of the year will be, in a sense, its own season of the show, and then it'll kind of like build year after year, to the point where it's kind of, for me, it's like this art of manifestation, because it's like I'm working with nature to create this story, to tell the story of nature, to then actually manifest it into real life shit. So this whole first scene is just, the possibility is already here. Like, nobody knows it yet. We don't know where this is going. And on the surface, everything kind of seems to be like just chilling. It's winter, everything's at rest. But there's this new possibility that's forming. And it's not so much that there's something additional that needs to be added. It's just recognizing what is already present within the seed. And so, maybe there's a resonance or relation to different experiences that you may have. And as far as like, I don't really feel like doing this on this one particularly, but I guess an exercise could be the whole, like the journal of the 10 years, or you do like a journal entry for 10 years into the future, and you kind of like, you tell your own story of, it's January 18th, 2035, and this is my day, like this is how I'm waking up. This is essentially, you're just kind of creating your own possibility, your own story, that then you can then realize and then live into. Which, as the story progresses, like the teachings and everything behind it will kind of start leading in that direction, where it essentially is this like, you're creating a map. In order to be able to use the map, you got to know where you're at, you got to know where you're going, because you need to know those two things in order to chart the territory that's going to get you there. And so first is just like, well, where do I actually want to go? Because a lot of times we're just, we spend a lot of time just running away from things we don't want. And as much energy as we put into all the shit we don't want, we can use that same energy to clarify and specify, like, this is exactly what I want. Even though I may have absolutely zero clue how it's going to happen or how I'm going to get there, like, the possibility exists. Just in the same way, you see an acorn, you can do all the, you can put a microscope to it, cut it all into pieces, like you'll never find the oak tree within the seed of the acorn, but it's there. The essence is there. In the same way, it's like your dream, like that is your seed. You may not be able to actually see it all in its complete expression, but the essence is there, and just trusting like that's enough. And then, working with nature. That's why I asked too in the scene of like, oh, all I got to do is just plant this and then I'm good. Well, in a sense, yes. And at the same time, it only really works if you maintain that connection. Because a lot of times, the seed needs to be nurtured. And there might be a long time, you put a seed in the ground, might be a long time before anything actually, you see anything from it. So just like in life, like sometimes you have some kind of vision or goal or dream for yourself, and you're fucking watering it, you're nurturing it, and like you see nothing, and it can seem like hopeless, like nothing's fucking happening. But then, you know, and again, you can stop, you can be like, nothing's happening, and so you just give up on it, and then really nothing's gonna happen. Or you like, you know, you have that trust, like, okay, let me just keep nurturing this, keep watering it, like keep taking care of this, and then who knows, might be months later, might be years later, boop, a little sprout comes up. And then that's the journey. It's like the seed, you know, it's simultaneously, it's already done before it happens, but then once it begins, it's just this perpetual thing. Because like, you know, the tree grows and then there's more acorns. And it's like the cycle kind of rinses and repeats itself. Even though within the seed already, the ending is already there. The possibility is already there. And so it's just like recognizing that within yourselves. Okay? Questions? No. All right. So it's a little taste of kind of where we're heading with this. So thanks for,